located. I have I don't know, it was the last week sometime, one of the streams was about this idea of trying to understand animation composition as a property because I didn't really understand it. And this, like the demo on MDN was so super confusing to me. Hello, the scientist. Thanks for joining. I recognize you from before. Okay, so look at this. This demo was like confounding to me. We did ultimately get it, but I want to think about it again from scratch. Is that there's a replace, an add, and an accumulate chunk here. Replace, add, and accumulate. 3 divs. And there's a little pillbox in there. And the little pillbox does super different stuff depending on which animation composition we're using. So what's happening with this is that the target, which is this little pillbox, already has a translate on it, and it already has a rotation on it. And then we call this animation on it, and it does different things depending on these animation compositions. Okay. So note that it already has this on it, and I think replaces the default one, right? Replaces the default value. So in the case of replace, it doesn't matter what this transform is, or it kind of does because there's no 0% keyframe. So at 0%, they're all going to be the same. It will matter. But between 0 and 20% of this keyframe animation, this is like getting replaced by translate X 100. So it's like starting out wherever it is rotated in the replace, and then it gets to just only translate X 100 pixels, and then it moves on and does the rest of it. But in the case of add, these stay on it. A little zoom ski, sure. Let's see if I'm in the browser. Boom, boom. In the case of add, I believe what's happening is that these just stay on there. Notice rotate 45 degrees. It never moves from 45 degrees. This never gets replaced. Never gets replaced. So these stay on there, and it's kind of like translate X gets picked up and it gets put on the end of this list. And I think that's where I got confused before. And I was like, why would there ever be 2 translate X's in one list of transform? Wouldn't one replace the other one or something? But Andrew was here and he was pointing out that like it is different. If you have all 3 of them in a list, it moves over 30, rotates 45 degrees, and then moves at that 45 degrees down another 100 pixels. So add is like really different behavior. That's why it's like moving at this angle. That was so confusing to me. And then accumulate does smash them together. So in accumulate, these are going to stay on the little pill, but the translate X is going to accumulate the translate X value of this transform. So it's going to end up the furthest to the right, accumulate, at the end of the thing. So what I thought I would just think about in this a little bit longer is like how much can we do with just the transform property? Like how many things can we put in the list? I assume there's like almost not a limit, or the limit is going to be extremely far or something. So I thought maybe we could like wire up our own little animation-y kind of thing and then have a button that just keeps appending transforms to it just for fun. I've literally never thought about that, so I kind of want to try it. So I'll go into the new CodePen 2.0 editor. And it reminds me a little bit of like Lego Logo, or I'm not sure if I have that right, but there was like I remember a thing when I was a real young kid, like when I was in grade school in like the 80s. You could write really basic, simple computer programs that would move like a Lego around, like a Lego thing that would take instructions, and you could like move forward 1 foot, turn sideways, move forward 1 foot again. That kind of thing. So maybe we'll call our thing the turtle. You know, get rid of all of our default styles. We are going to need a little JavaScript in the end because I essentially want a button, and the button is going to be like do something. So we'll give ourselves a button which to attach a click handler to. And then what does the turtle look like? Turtle is width of, I don't know, we can't make it too small because now the code is small again, and you know, I know I already was Made it too small. And then we'll background. What's like a turtley color? I'm not good at remembering what colors are. What's pretty turtley there? Pretty turtley. Pretty turtley. Height of 100. I don't know. Our turtles. We'll just make it round, I guess. An almost circle. All right. Where's my turtle? There we go. You're a little too enormous when I'm zoomed in. All right. And now do something. Let's say that it's got a transition on it of a second. And then if we click that button, and did you know, this is just this trick that I only ever would do in demos, that like button, I can just add an event listener on it. I don't have to query selector for a thing named button because things with IDs are automatically kind of on the window object. We don't need the event, and we'll use an arrow just for brevity, and then we'll do a sanity check to make sure a click happened. Yeah. Console. Click, 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 click. It's not a function. Maybe is button I thought that would work. X. X is button like a keyword or something. Yeah, well, you'd think it would automatically be on the window object. Console. If the console's context is this, what is X? It's the button, see? Oh, I must have spelled it long. Listener. Where were you on that one? Chat, come on. Actually, we probably should have helped better with that somehow. All right, now if I click, do I get clicks? Add event listener. When you click it, do something. It's still not actually working though. Failed to execute it. 2 arguments required, but only 1 present. Oh, it's because it's a click. Duh. Click, click, click. Clear. Oh my God. Can I not attach a click handler? What is happening? Console X. It's a button. When you click it, run this function. But it never makes it to the console. Okay, we just need to move a little slower, I think. Const button equals document.query selector, and we are going to use the ID of button. 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 Now we'll just comment that out for now and just say console.log button. Like it's our first day writing JavaScript. Did you find it? You sure did. Now I'll just delete this so I'm not nuts. Button.add event listener. It's a click. And it has a function. No errors? No errors? Good. Console.log button was clicked. Button was clicked. I think that's what I was doing. I was just clicking out here because I got really used to that. Because our default pen has like a thing that it has bound to the whole document. Okay, we are cooking with gas though, friends. So we've done it now, but we want to affect the styles of the button or the turtle. So we're gonna need the turtle too. Const turtle. Should we just use IDs? We just have one thing going on. Turtle equals document dot query selector turtle. Like this is totally fine, but it makes me want to abstract the query selector because we're doing it twice. We don't need the console anymore for the moment. What we want to do is affect the turtle's styles. So we could say like turtle dot style dot transform equals what? Translate x 100 pixels. Is that going to accept that? Do something. Oh my gosh, did you see that? But now as I hit it, it's just adding another 100 pixels. So like in DevTools, it's just replacing 100 pixels with 100 pixels. So as I click it, it is like very quickly changing the DOM, but you don't see anything move because it's just not moving. We could like keep accumulating some variable or something and keep moving it along like those turtles from my childhood, but that's not what we want to do. We're trying to keep adding the value. What if we go console.log? What is turtle.style.transform? Does it give it to you in a nice little string format? No, it didn't return anything. Do you have to like get computed style on it or something? How do you do get computed style? You just call it with a reference to the element. Okay. I need to call this pen turtle so I can see what I'm doing in the sidebar. Can we really just get computed style turtle? But I want to see what it is. Console.log. Sure. What is it? Oh, it's like everything in the world. But then can we just is it just transform? Because it's an object? Oh, but the object have numbers as keys. Oh, it says none. Oh, and then it has a matrix transform on it. That's almost too bad. Like, I get it, that's fine. It doesn't have any transform first, and then it uses a matrix transform to actually move it, because matrix is probably like the one true like the style that can replicate any kind of transform. But that's not very useful to us, in my opinion. So we can't count on that. We're just going to have to do our own kind of string concatenation. So let's say you click on it, and it does that, and we do... How do we do it? It's not do something anymore. We're going to say this is the move right button, and we're going to give ourselves some constants. We'll say const like move right is this string. We need that as a string though. We'll just do little backtickies. And then that's move right. Well, does that still work? Sanity check. Yes. All right. Then we'll do like a let, and we'll say let, I don't know, accumulated styles equal nothing. And so fine. But what we're going to do is say accumulated styles plus equals a space and then move right. And then the transform gets set to accumulated styles. Is that still going to work even with the space in there? Probably will. Yeah. All right. So button is, now we need to call it the move right button. And likewise, we could have a move left button. Move left. And this is going to be the move right button. And this is going to be the move left button. But instead of removing our move right, we're just going to translate X the opposite value. Like, I don't know, why not? Move left is negative 100 pixels. Then our move left button, which we'll have to make sure we have a reference for. Move left button is, so this one is move right button, and this one is move left button. There's probably some nicer way we could use. What are those new things in HTML? Invokers? I feel like it makes me want to try that, but another stream, folks. That's why you listen every day. So we're going to append move left to it while we click the move left button. Move right. Is it at a moment of truth? Is it going to move left? Oh, it totally does. So right, 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 left, 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 left. That's amazing. And if we look at it in DevTools, what is it going to look like? Oh, it looks like just how we want it to look. It's this big string of freaking translate values. That's what I was hoping would happen, that it wouldn't turn into a matrix transform or whatever. It only turns into a matrix transform when you call get computed style on it. Otherwise, this kind of mysterious what have you. Fun. So now we can add the rotation ones too and things get really weird. But let's get the buttons out of the way maybe. Can we wrap these things in like a header? And we'll put the headers at the top and we'll format the document because that looks horrible. And we'll say that our controls are at the top of the page. Well, they already are. So we'll just say, I don't know, background black. We'll just say display flex with justify content in the middle. Padding of a rem. We will get that margin off the body and give ourselves a little gap on here. And so we have a real fancy control center coming along here. And then maybe should we try to, I guess the turtle up against the very back left is okay. Maybe we'll put a border on it. Border 5 pix solid white so it looks like it's pushed away from the edge just a little bit. Cool. And now we want the rotation buttons on there. Should we just, I don't see any way other than of being like too abstract about this. I think these buttons are probably the way to go. So I'm going to say rotate and then I guess like C clockwise. So rotate clockwise 45 degrees. Is that going to have a nice degree thing? Let's just do them both at once. Rotate CCW counterclockwise. I thought I saw those terms show up in CSS recently somewhere. That was surprising to me. Maybe it was in the shape spec or something. Rotate counterclockwise 45 degrees. Yes. Okay. So let's just duplicate these buttons. Of course, I'm sure if you all use AI frequently that this is probably, it would like chew through this. Rotate CW button. But we're just using our fingers because it's nice to experience a little walking uphill once in a while, isn't it, folks? And the ID is that. We put buttons at the end of them. Let's just do it. Let's do it. Be really nice and consistent. Button. All right, so what are they going to do? First of all, we need our constants. Constant rotate CW is going to do something, and const rotate CCW is going to do something. What is it going to do? It's going to just rotate 45 degrees. What is it? 45 degrees is an eighth of a turn. We could go like 0.0125 turns. You ever use a turn value, folks? You can. I think that's more confusing than it's worth, probably. 45 degrees and rotate negative 45 degrees. Sure. Fine. And then the actual click handlers are a little repetitive. Now I'm feeling like there probably is a way to make this less repetitive because it is very repetitive. And we're attaching it to this button and this button. Begging for abstraction, isn't it? So still, move right, move left, move right, move left, rotate, which we'll barely be able to see, but this is a clutch moment. Once it's rotated 45 degrees, when you move it right, it's not going to move to the right anymore. It's going to move to the bottom right. Ah. That is so surprising to me that because of its rotation, it now moves a different direction. So now if I rotate it again, it'll come down. We did what we wanted to do. That's amazing. I guess we could use a reset button too, right? Now there's too many buttons now. I think our flex box needs to wrap. Flex wrap. It's okay. You can wrap. We're going to let you wrap. And then button ID equals reset. Reset. What does a reset button do? Const reset button equals one of these suckers. Reset. Reset. I did call it a button, didn't I? Good job myself. Dot add event listener. Click. Call and run this function. What I want you to do, transform, is set these styles to nothing. Yeah, will it work? Move right, 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 right. Reset. Right, right, reset. Ooh, why did it go so far? When I hit right, it went really far. And then I hit reset. Why did it go so far? Oh, because accumulated styles are still, the variable is still there. So that becomes nothing too. Whew. Professional computer programming here, folks. Move right, right. Rotate, left. Rotate, right. Reset. Oh, amazing. Yeah, I just banned the bot. Can you, where I hit ban, but like, what does it look like to you when I killed the bot? Does it delete the comment, or is the comment still sitting there? It'd be kind of nice if it removed the comment, but I don't know if it did or not. All right, I think we need to make this thing look a little bit more like a turtle and then call it for the day. It says message deleted. Good job, software. I think we just need like a little turtle head off the turtle, and after content, nothing. Unless there's like a little, there's not a turtle head emoji, is there? Oh, I always wondered about that. Look, when I bring up my emoji selector, you can't see it because I'm not sharing my screen. I'm sharing one particular software window. That's interesting. Turtle. Is there any emoji that looks like a turtle head? Nope. We're going to have to make our own. I'd say the width is about, I don't know, 20% as big as the actual turtle is. And the background is, we could just say brown, but certainly there's an amazing turtle head color in here. I don't know why why would the turtle head be a different color, but in this world it is. Which is also a very random border radius percentage. Pause absolute, which means this needs position relative, and it needs positioning left 20%, or in the new world, inset inline start. It's just good to build the muscle memory, isn't it? Can I make the Z index like -1 to push it underneath? Will that actually work? And then, ooh, it did, but it went like way far under. What if this is 0? Can you see it? Does it still actually poke out? Oh, it's the border. We need to get rid of the border, I'm afraid. Or maybe not. Just make it like less. Oh, it's already kind of turtle-like. Why does it come on top when it has a transform on it? Ooh, is it a bug or is it something? Why does it do that? The turtle has transforms on it, and as soon as it does, the Z index doesn't work anymore. Wow. I just don't know. I just didn't know that, or didn't. Like, why would that be true? Super weird. Super weird. I don't think it would be any different if it was a div or anything. I don't really feel like troubleshooting that right now. I mean, obviously we could find a way to make the turtle's head a little underneath if we wanted to, using just different elements or whatever. I find this very satisfying. It was just a dumb little idea. And it kind of worked, but it was rooted in this idea, remember, of how animation composition works. And I don't think it's just on the transform property. I think the border only disappeared when it was, I don't know, it didn't have one at first, and then I added one. I'm sure the border is still there. It just has to do with how z-index works and transforms and stuff. It was rooted in learning this situation, which I think probably mostly interfaces with transform. I can't think of like a ton of other properties that animation composition would mess with. But let's say this was like, I don't know, left 50 pixels or whatever. Like you can't, like literally if this wasn't a transform, it was something else. Do these still apply when they're not transforms? It's like you almost need properties that take multiple values like this. And there's just not a super ton of them. So I wonder what it says about that. Let's read it. Animation composition applies the composite operation to use when multiple animations affect the same property simultaneously. When you specify multiple comma-separated values on an animation property, they will be applied to the animations in the order in which the animations appear. If the number of animations in compositions differ, the values in the animation composition will cycle from the last animation name looping into. So I think what it's saying is, in our fancy example at the bottom, there's only one keyframe here, but that means this keyframe gets added or accumulated or whatever to this. But let's say there was two keyframe animations, slide 1 and slide 2. It would start with this value, add this one, and then add the ones from slide 2. Like the order that keyframes appear in the document affects the order which they appear here, which is interesting. I guess I would guess that it would happen based on timing, like when this applies and all that. But I guess that's why it's a big fancy note. Applied to the animations in the order in which the animations appear. Ooh, it looks like my camera froze on me. Wake up, buddy. I don't know why it does that. Interesting. Each property that is targeted by the keyframes rule is associated with an effect stack. Oh yeah, another one is filter. That's a good one to think about because filter can have blur. In fact, I feel like I had that in my CodePen the other day. I think it was when we were playing with this same stuff, isn't it? I'm on my own pens, right? But didn't make it a 2.0 pen because I wanted to share it, and I'm not sure I ever did. But it was about blurs. We are messing with how in this test we're blurring by 1 pixel. At this one we apply 2 blurs, which definitely blurs it more, but it's less than if you blur it by 2 pixels. Like blurring by 1 pixel twice is less than 2 pixels. But it's not that 2 pixels is the maximum. It's not like if you do infinite blur 1 pixels, it only ever gets up to like 1.99999 pixels or something like that. Because if you apply enough blurs to it, it does at least appear blurrier than 2 pixels does. So it's like, I don't even know what's going on there, but that's the deal. It's similar to the transform property in that you can apply translate and then rotation and then all those, what are all the different ones? Scale. You can apply multiple space separated ones. So this is pretty cool of the MDN article. We don't need that one anymore. Did I lose the MDN article? Oh, here it is. That blur is interesting, right? That if you're saying add it, then blur becomes 30 pixels by the end of this, right? Or would it? No, I think it would become 25 pixels by the end. Do we have that right? Ooh, no, we don't have it right. With replace, The blur 5 pixel goes away. It starts at 10 and gets to 20. Wouldn't it? Yeah. Oh, this is just talking about the 0% keyframe. With add, it becomes 0 in the first keyframe. Now that's interesting too. And then by the end, wow, why would it be 0? Oh no, with the composite effect value, it's both of them in the first keyframe. I misunderstood that this would make it down to blur 0. That wouldn't make any sense. So it adds both blurs on top of each other, and with accumulate, it smashes the 5 pixels and the 10 pixels together. That's a pretty good explanation. Good job, MDN. Cool. So filter and transform are two huge targets for this thing. I wonder if there's anything else. There's just not that many properties that have these space separated list kind of things. And we've looked at that one long enough. Pretty interesting. It's also a little funny that, in our turtle game, we're just like accumulating these transforms like crazy to the point where the list of transforms is like a whole bunch of stuff like that. I don't know. It seems to me in CSS, because we got the properties, like if I wanted to rotate the little turtle head, let's make it more oblong. I don't have to use a transform to do that anymore. I can just say rotate 5 degrees and when you do it like this, I don't think that's valued, right? Like that's just going to get ignored then. Yeah, it's just, that's an invalid value for rotate. The fact that we got like transformless rotations and scales and translates means that I think they're used a heck of a lot more. I want to see if did the browser throw away the value on the turtle head? Probably. Yeah, it does. Look, it's like you can't do that. You can't take a space separated value of individual degrees. And I think this has gotten popular. It's gotten popular in my head anyway. Is that why use transform rotate when you could just use rotate? But I guess we're learning that it has value. The reason that you'd use transform is because it can take that space separated value, and sometimes that's just awfully cool. So I don't know what we'll do with Turtle Land, with Turtle Boy here. I think it's mostly just a demo. Move right, clockwise, move right. Whatever. I think this has ended up much more satisfactory than I thought it would in the end anyways. So I'm going to leave it at that. I didn't have a ton of time to stream today anyway. I just didn't want to miss a day. And I feel very happy with that. And I really appreciate everybody stopping by. Take care of yourselves. Be good. And we'll stream a little again tomorrow. Bye-bye.